So, I know it's been a while since I've posted a normal video. I would like to blame that fact entirely on having a very, very busy work schedule, and sometimes having the time on my days off to sit down and record these is just not in the cards. I know it's probably been longer than I would have preferred. I should have already had at least one more of these videos out, but I am going to work on fixing that. I'm going to work on having a lot more videos of this type and kind coming out in the future. They're going to be airing most Wednesdays, assuming there is no immediate issues. But with that out of the way, thanks to my lovely Jeremy Army, I have provided for you yet another Top 10 video. And this is the Top 10 Pokemon I would eat. I know it's a lot more simple of a title than the last one, but I think it's a fun opinion to have, to say the least. The Pokemon games as of late have been doing a lot to kind of, I don't know, it's hard to describe because they're being a lot more obvious with the whole people eating Pokemon thing, but they're also trying to make it so that we're not hurting Pokemon in order to get the thing. Like, they'll talk about Cloth or Chronont claws falling off through battle or just random reasons, and then you can, pick up the claw and cook it and all that other nonsense. I don't know. I like the old-fashioned style of just, slicing a tail off a slowpoke, roasting it on an open fire, or cooking it in a curry. Yes. That's the right way to do all this nonsense. But, on that note, I suppose we should start with number 10. Bam! Speaking of slowpoke, alright, look, I have no idea what a slowpoke is. I'm sure every single one of you has seen the Tree of Evolution that Birdkeeper Toby had created, and I believe he treated it as some sort of extinct mammal, so not quite a hippo, not quite otter or any other thing where it kind of would relate to that, but we know for a fact in the Pokemon world that those slowpoke tails are delicious, and I would certainly want to give it a try. I don't even know if it's something that you would have to cook, or maybe you just eat it raw. Who really knows? And apparently they're gonna go back anyway, so cut it off, have a bite to eat, your slowpoke grows another one. Nice and easy. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about number 10. Let's take a look at numero 9. Bam! Okay. Let me explain this one. I know it might seem silly, because that's a Minior. That is a rock from space. But doesn't it kind of just look like a Starburst? Or any other kind of chewy square candy? Just kind of mold those rainbow candies into a little star, and you have the wide range of Minior colors. I don't know, it just looks like it's cherry flavored. Or maybe strawberry flavored. Or raspberry flavored, or any of the other red berries that you could possibly have. I don't know, it seems like it would taste incredible. I'm pretty sure that Minior are food for Rayquaza or something, and if it's good enough for Rayquaza, it's good enough for me, right? Okay. Yeah, that's my reasoning, that's my logic, and out of all the other core colors, I think Minior would probably taste the best, because it's always the red one or the blue one. It's always the red or the blue, no matter what kind of thing you're consuming. It's always the red or always the blue. They also kind of remind me of, those translucent hard candies that are in those like partially yellow wrappers. I don't know if I should be saying the name of the candy or not, but I'll say the name of the candy anyway. Jolly Rancher. I don't know. It literally just looks like candy, and I think it would taste incredible. So, yeah. That is my logic. Moving on to number 8. Caramel Swirl Al Creamy. So if anyone knows me, they know that I am hopelessly addicted to anything with caramel in it. That is one of my weaknesses. It is one of my food, I don't know, I guess food weaknesses is just the best way to say it. So yeah, like, legitimately, if you give me anything with caramel in it, I will probably devour it on the spot. And, like, Al Creamy is basically whipped cream and or ice cream or frosting or any kind of whipped dessert topping that you would put upon a cake. So, like, I've had frozen whipped cream before. That stuff's delicious. It's basically ice cream, but like really soft and easy to consume in large volumes. Put some caramel in there and I would go for it. I would devour every single inch of that Al Creamy. And I'm pretty sure they wouldn't even care. I don't know, maybe like the splatters they leave behind would become a milcery, and like it would start the cycle anew. That would be fun. Although I guess I would have to master figuring out the right way to spin so that I could evolve the Al Creamy properly into the flavor I wanted. I don't know. I guess the question there is where Al Creamy got the caramel. Maybe it was just carrying it around. But I think that's all we've got to say about Al Creamy. It's gonna be delicious regardless. I think all of these things that I have on the list are gonna be incredibly delicious. Number 7. Bam! Alright. So like everyone, I enjoy a good burger. And out of all the cow and bull and ungulate adjacent Pokemon like that, I think Miltank is obviously gonna be one of the best burgers and steaks you can find. And like they also produce milk. You can make butter out of them, out of milk, that is to say. So like it's good to keep a couple Miltank around. Obviously, you don't need to consume every single inch of all the Pokemon here. I'm only eating the Slowpoke tail, but Miltank can provide a bunch of things. You can make some burgers, steaks, slices of roast beef. Oh, some of my favorite things in the universe can be obtained from a Miltank. And I just think that's good. Miltank are a magical animal that can produce many incredible meats and meat accessories? What's even a meat accessory? Alright. Okay, Miltank's an obvious one. That one should be clear as day. Anyone who enjoys burgers, anyone who enjoys meat is probably gonna have Miltank on a list like this. So, let's move on to what I like to consider the more interesting things. Number 6. Archeops. So, this is an interesting entry in this list here. I could have put any kind of bird in here, any kind of poultry. But I think there's something incredibly fascinating about consuming the first bird, and just something ancient in general. Like, how primal is it to take a fossilized Pokemon and just devour it as if you were a cave person millions of years ago who hunted this Archeops and cooked it and devoured it over your own fire? And I honestly want to know, would it taste like chicken? Would Archeops taste like chicken, or would it taste more like a lizard? Would it taste more like a dinosaur? I want to know. I want to know what it would taste like in relation to all other existing meats. Maybe I'd have to roast up an pheasant or set a Spearow on fire or something in order to get a proper comparison, but yeah, I would certainly prefer attempting to eat an Archaeops as opposed to any of the other creatures that are bird-like. And just look at those legs. They're massive. I could probably get a drumstick the size of my head out of an Archaeops. Maybe even more. Let's take a look, though, at the fifth one. Now, this one might be a bit ridiculous, but let me explain. Garchomp. So, okay. I know it's silly. Garchomp are ridiculously powerful, and attempting to consume one's basically a death wish. But you know how people have shark fin soup? I would bet dollars to donuts, Poke dollars to Poke donuts, that a Garchomp shark fin soup would taste amazing. I've never had shark before, but I like fish. I like pretty much anything that comes out of the ocean. You know, roasted on a grill or bake it in an oven, I will devour pretty much any living creature you give to me. But I've never had shark, and they're probably one of the few aquatic creatures that you can't like go to your local Walmart to obtain. But yeah, that's my first entry in the more exotic category, and it's gonna get a bit more exotic as we go around. So let's take a look at number 4. Assuming I'm still alive after devouring part of a Garchomp. White striped Basculin. So this one is another kind of experimental thing, similar to Archaeops and I guess Garchomp. This whole section of 3 are all kind of experimental. We know for a fact that the regular blue and red stripes of Basculin are good. Multiple Pokedex entries talk about how they're absolutely delicious. I think the red one is said to be more fatty, and the blue one, I should say, is a lot more lean and more subtle. The red's more popular with kids, and the blue is more popular with adults. Something like that. But both of the species are incredibly aggressive. I would be curious to know how they compare to white-striped Basculin, which is said to be quite a gentle fish. It might even be easier to catch them if they're that gentle. You could probably pluck a white-striped Basculin right out of the ocean, fry it up on a campfire, and just eat it there. I don't know. I want to know. I want to know what it tastes like. I want to know if it's just as fatty, or maybe it's somewhere in between. Is it like a nice little bit of fat on it to keep it all juicy? I don't know. I'm just too curious. And besides, wouldn't it be cool to eat Basculegion? Oh, God. Basculegion would probably be a weird thing to eat. I don't know, if you ate a white-striped Basculin, if you ate enough of them, could you just create a Basculegion because you've created enough souls? I don't know. Let's go on to number 3. Boom. Okay. Pig Night. It was obvious we were gonna have some sort of bacon or pork on this list. And in my personal opinion, I think one of the best pig Pokemon that we've got out there to devour is probably Pig Night. We've got the Gen 9 pig that we could eat, but I don't know, something about looking at a Lechonk or an Oinkologne, it just doesn't seem as appealing to me. I like food that has a bit of a kick, and I don't know if just like the sweet smelling aroma or whatever that Pokemon's ability's name is, something about it is just kind of turning me off. I don't like Grumpig. I like Grumpig as a Pokemon, but I think Psychic Bacon might have a bit of a weird aftertaste. More importantly, I think being a fire type would mean that you can it would either cook itself or it might be spicy. And I like spicy chicken, so a spicy pork would probably be awesome. Not to mention pigs are magical creatures, just like cows that provide a bunch of different other meats for you to enjoy. You got bacon, you got pork, you got ham. The possibilities with pigs are endless. And out of the whole line, Tepig is obviously too small, and Embor is obviously too thick. Although Embor would still probably be pretty interesting. People have eaten boars all the time in the past, and a big old roast Embor would probably be pretty darn delicious. But I picked the mid form because I think it's going to be the most consistently delicious. So let's take a look at what I would consume second most of all. The thing that I desire second most to eat is summer form sawsbuck. Please, if you ever have a chance to try venison, try it. Venison is perfect. Like, I talked about how I love burgers, right? I love beef. I love burgers. I love a good old steak. A proper, rare steak with a bit of barbecue sauce. But there's just something so incredible about a venison burger that I can't even begin to, explain it. Venison is so good. I had a venison burger prepared by some family of mine, and it was the most juicy piece of meat I've ever consumed in my life. There was no fat on it, but it was still super juicy, and just it was legitimately one of the most incredible things I've ever consumed in my life, and I need more of it. I need to get more of it. I need to make more burgers. Summer form sawsbuck specifically, because I think it is the best natural relative to the deer of our world, because they are, of course, more populating in summer and spring and that sort of thing. I probably could have done spring as well, but at least the summer form has a bunch of leaves, so if you were interested in tea, you could probably brew yourself a sawsbuck leaf tea. I don't know if it's a green tea or a black tea. I'm not much into tea, but it would probably be pretty tasty, especially with the venison. But that leaves our number 1 slot. That leaves the final Pokemon that I would like to consume. And if you know anything about me, you're going to know that one of my favorite foods are crab legs. Legitimately, I absolutely adore seafood, and the king of the crop of seafood are king crab legs, and that's what a kingler is. And look, that giant claw, kingler are huge. You can have giant kinglers with giant claws. There must be an absolutely insane amount of meat inside those pincers. And I want to sit there and devour an entire kingler from the inside out. I think it would be one of the most incredible seafood experiences. I could dip it in some butter made from Miltank. I could serve it in a pasta. Honorable mention, I guess. Tangrowth kind of looks like a walking ball of pasta, and I'm obsessed with Italian foods, so if Tangrowth was actually pasta, not vines, I would probably devour that. But unfortunately, it didn't make the cut because I couldn't really logic it existing as food. But seafood pasta, absolutely delicious. Hell, I would probably throw some of Garchomp or Basculin into a pasta. That would be incredible. Obviously, you can make meatballs out of beef and pork, and turkey, so you can definitely make a bunch of meatballs out of the other animals I have on this list, and just have the best Italian buffet you could ever think of having. So, yeah. That has been my list of top 10 Pokemon I would like to devour. I think that's what I'm going to title it. Pokemon I want to devour. Pokemon I would eat. Probably Pokemon I would eat. I don't know. You know the title. You see it on the video. But, yeah. I think that's everything I wanted to say about this particular list. Which means I have nothing else to say, so I hope you enjoyed the list. Please list your own thoughts in the comment section below. Gotta remember to say that sort of thing. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. I'm a YouTuber. I need to do these things at the end or the middle of my videos. I've never liked doing those plugs in videos, but I probably should. It would probably be the best thing in order to keep getting more of these videos coming out to you guys. So yeah, I've got nothing else to say. Be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes.